there, to be fair. He looks so different than normal.
That's right, and I thought we were going to get a shot there, actually, of the man sitting in the pit lane, who's Marco Morelli, number 95, because he has to start from the pit lane instead of the make-up time. I would, if you were going to have to start from the pit lane, there is our pole man, Yaroslav pushing. If you're going to have to start from the pit lane, pick a wet race to do it, I would say.
Yeah, everybody got to be very, very delicate through turns 1, 2, 3. And then there's just so much time spent on the left-hand side of the tyre, Peter, isn't there?
Pushing, the 15-year-old from Kyrgyzstan, his first time in pole position. He said it does feel really special to be sitting on the pole position for my first Rookies Cup. He said that after qualifying. He's so happy. Go! Pushing gets it rolling well. Carter Thompson a little better. In fact, it's Carter Thompson that takes up the lead, but the 51 is there. It is our man Brian Uriarte who leads into the first corner, and you can see that dry line forming.
And a few riders, his race winning chances or anything like that. Big shame for Sully.
You ruined it. It's all your fault. Yeah. Right, we'll keep stopping. Right, 51 it is. Brian Uriarte that leads then. And let's just see what he can make of this. He's a thinking man here. I think he's got the intelligence. And there's number 5 of Ramos. Well. I cursed him then, didn't I?
Yeah, oh, goodness me.
Brian Uriarte, absolutely superb stuff here. He really is feeling his way absolutely brilliantly at the moment. 17 laps of Rookies Cup action, and Brian is going to try and make it his own.
The 13 up from 13th on the grid to 8th position. We have Hakim Danish battling with the Indonesian rider to complete that one.
And Brian, head down then, 16 laps remaining. Carter Thompson in second place, head down, trying to reason just how Brian is making this work so well for him. The track is drying out. Move there, I think he's up into 4th place. He doesn't want to see Brian disappear over the horizon.
So if there is a drying line forming then, Peter, are we going to see a big load of tyre wear towards the end of the race?
Yeah, we could indeed. I think we'll see even, but it certainly will factor into it. There is the number 7 of Benyat Fernandez in 3rd place. Carter Thompson chasing after Brian Uriarte ahead of him.
Some huge gaps in the lap times from just that first lap around, actually, Peter, already. You can really see the difference with riders that naturally the silly Billy, I would call him, after that one, but hopefully he learns from that this time around.
Right, out onto the start and finish to complete lap 2. Carter Thompson's certainly going after Brian Uriarte, and Benyat Fernandez is towing the rest of the guys behind him. Veda Pratama is there as well, but it's up to Carter Thompson to chase Brian Uriarte.
The benchmark is a 1 minute.
First corner round wide, but he has made it stick now. I think he's up into 3rd place and going after Carter Thompson. He's relegated Benyat Fernandez to 4th on the number 7.
Imagine Pratama just going to be feeling his way into it, isn't he?
By Carter Thompson, superb stuff from the Australian.
Carter really want to make amends after a luckless Mugello, and it really was that. He got punted wide in the final corner, effectively crashed, and then seemingly had a mechanical issue in the second race, rather than an actual mechanical.
I think that's what it was.
Mechanical failure caused by another rider.
Yeah, caused by another rider, but as you say, equally luckless. Anyway, nothing to do with him. The number 7 of Benyat Fernandez going down the hill, chasing after Veda Pratama.
This sort of track is so different in its nature, whether it's wet or dry, isn't it, compared to what those you go to?
Yeah, it is. It's all, as you say, mentioned before, you know, all these corners that run together. The left-handers, we're coming towards the end of the left-hand of this climb here, and it's a lot steeper climb than you can see on the TV screen.
No! So we have a new leader then. It's Carter Thompson, the number 50. This is brilliant stuff from the Aussie.
And it's a good time to overtake. Don't hang about, because as a dry line forms, it actually makes overtaking more difficult, because you've got to go
in the back of the grid though, Peter, up to 11th place. That's very impressive for the Japanese rider.
Superb stuff, absolutely brilliant. So let's see. I wonder, what do you think Brian's thoughts are going to be now? Is he going to pass back as soon as he can, or is he going to sit there? I saw him look over his shoulder and see.
I'm still 1.4 seconds back. They're going to cross the second intermediate now, and the other riders, they're 1.4 again. If a little bit further back as well, so yeah, I think he can stick there for now, can't he?
It'd be interesting to see what the gap now is between Veda Pratama and the leading duo. At the moment, it's 1.5 seconds. You know, if the Tech Air suit decides that you're falling off, and there's somebody way off, Singapong off on the black stuff there. Was it actually Hakim Danish? I'm not sure. There's Hakim Danish, number 13. and he is down in 9th place. But say the airbag...
Ben Spees, I'm not sure, but certainly looked up. I'm sure we can ask him after the race, as we do have a changeover for 3rd place. Ramadipa, the rider who actually won the European Talent Cup race last weekend, he will find himself in 3rd position now, fighting for the podium there. First one in Rookies Cup.
Ahead of the Mugello double winner, so they are.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when they, once they come down the waterfall just through turn 11, we'll get the next intermediate split. It was actually 8 tenths of a second at the last one.
Yeah.
So what is it going to be now?
They're closing.
Closer, isn't
yeah,
it?
they are closing. They are closing. Superb stuff.
Back all the points you can get. How about that? Up 9 places is Ramadipa from the start of the race, Peter.
Superb stuff. And of course, as I said, Brian Ariete had a big slide. That was a warning. So he knows that he's pushing the limits, but he's having a look up the inside of Carter Thompson there into the first right-hander. Backs out of it.
The order then, you've got Gonzalez in 5th place, Plonk in 6th, Benyat Fernandez 7th place, Singapore 8th, Danish, your series leader, in 9th at the moment. I think if he's not feeling too sure about things, that's probably a good enough finish, given his, how much he's got in hand.
As they get worn, as the track dries, and the tyres start to move around a bit more and make things feel a bit more horrible, even if they are still offering good grip.
Benyat Fernandez quite wide there. But I do think maybe his airbag did go off and he's just been a bit more elbows out, so there we go. He is leading the way, takes the strip off the radiator. Thompson fighting still for 2nd spot with Ramadipa. That dry line well and truly formed in the braking zone now. Pratama
Doesn't want it to be a 4-man battle over the last couple of laps.
Tell you one rider I thought was going to be a bit of a heavier feature in this race. Your pole position sitter can't push it down in 14th place, battling just for points now, unfortunately for him. He'll be praying for a dry race at the end of play tomorrow.
Brian closes the door.
Yeah, absolutely slams it shut. A little bit of a twitch there as he comes out that corner, flicks it right into the waterfall, plunges down it. You cannot believe how steep it is here. You know when something's so steep when you're walking down it, you can't help but start a little
later, and Ramadipa had to back out of it.
This is absolutely quality, a dead heat over the line, it looks. Wow, yeah, it was Uriarte, 12 thousandths of a second separating the two of them. That time around, we have a 4-way fight for the lead, or do we, Peter? Because Gonzalez set a lap there.
Because of the dry line in some places, they want to overtake. They get in the way of each other a little bit. They, you know, who's going to go on the wet stuff? Who needs to take the dry? And that's really giving it. And we've got another. Oh dear, that is the end of Marco Morelli's race. He was nowhere either. You know, he started from
that is going to give him a bit less of an advantage. Ramadipa though looking quite strong at the moment. Thompson very wide. Is he just trying to keep to the wetter part?
He could, you know, he's already thinking in those terms. Yeah, it is really a broad, dry line down here, and certainly with you know, 8 laps and a few corners to go to complete another lap. Just 8 remaining.
Over the line we go then. So there we are, Pratama side by side with Uriarte. That is as close as you like, and pushes him wide. Pratama, he loves to get it. It'd be a 3rd in a row, but with a different rider here today. They must be on their feet. It will make front page news if they were to get a 1-2 here.
The social channels would go absolutely mad, won't they? Absolutely mad. Fantastic stuff. And he's pulling away. Ramadipa's pulling away. Now, Veda...
flailing with the competition out there, not too sure. We'll have to ask him after the race, because it looks like the pace is slowing compared to what it was, so it could just be that tyre wear really coming in now, Peter.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because the dry line is forming, so the track is getting far. Oh, and look you can see the bike moving around now as that tyre wear affects the stability as well. You know, it looks worse than it is. It's not making the bikes unstable at all, but it just, you know, you can see it moving around. The carcass is getting very, very warm, and they really should be looking
for the next 7 laps or so in 15th.
And Ramadipa moving around big time as he came over the hill there and down. Those tyres certainly getting up to a very serious temperature now.
Tell you what, Guillaume Plonk absolutely on a roll here, whether it's wet or dry.
Very useful. He's got a handy points lead. He really doesn't need to do anything silly here, especially with Brian Uriarte not leading this. He's back in 3rd place.
There he is, just in the middle of our screens ahead of Singapore. Thai rider and going neck and neck through towards the final corner. Singapore look behind him, he's going to see Zebin. Yeah, you got Dinesh just outbreaking the guys there in towards turn one, going a bit wide, but how wide is he? Just cutting a different line. I think he'll find himself on the inside in towards turn two. Very nicely done from Hakim.
And Planck, the fastest man on the track that time. It's completely dry there as they tip it left and go down and onto a damp part of tarmac, but even that is drying out very quickly. For the last 3 or 4 laps, it's going to be dry almost all the way around here. There is the 13 of Cup points leader, Hakim Danish.
I tell you what, though, Planck just set the fastest lap of the whole race so far.
The way he went past Veda Pratama, the double winner from Mugello, is absolutely superb. But there is the 24 of Guillaume Planck.
He is looking for his first podium in Rookies Cup, the Frenchman. Absolutely on one here. What's his lap time going to be as they cross the line? Ramadip has got a second advantage that time around. Planck
remaining.
Something happened to Dinesh that time around, Peter, because he's been pushed all the way back to 10th spot now. So there we have it. It is all changed in the closing stages of this race.
And he's got to keep it upright, Hakim. He just needs a few points here. He doesn't need to do anything silly at all. And you're looking back from Brian Uriarte at the
zone. You've got to hand it to him. Ramadipa out front with a second's gap still, Peter. What a ride this is from our first-year Indonesian rider.
And Guillem's really got to keep the ball rolling here. He's got to keep that momentum. He needs to get past Brian Uriarte. He's not a, Brian, of course, not an easy
34, but look out front. Ramadipa now into the lead, ahead of Morelli and Benyat Fernandez.
But Brian Uriarte is not letting them go. Look, he's there in 4th place. He's close into them, and he's going to lock on to the rear of the number 7, Benyat Fernandez, in 3rd as they go down the hill.
And Ramadipa's lead was short-lived for Morelli.
If his pace is quicker or than he was running in qualifying, maybe the bike isn't really set up to do this, but he's a bright, wily rider, and he'll make the best of the situation, certainly. There's the 51 of Brian Uriarte. He'll be late on the brakes at the bottom there. He goes from 4th to 3rd.
Perfect. This is where it really changes. They fan and weave across the start and finish straight in towards turn one. Uriarte goes up the inside.
And
he just
lead.
makes it stick.
And we were saying could Mitani do what he did yesterday when he finished 5th after coming off?
In charge, in command here in Rookies Cup Race 2.
Yeah, and you know, the way he rode yesterday was just so superb. He sat there right on the tail with the confidence that he said that he knew that he could win the race from Kianda Ramadipa, and indeed he did. But he's lost the lead now.
He's been carving his way through as Mitani gets pushed wide by Karpushin, the pole sitter at number 17, and now he's in the lead.
Into the lead, yeah. I wondered if he was just saving a bit of tyres. There'll be 3 laps to go as they go across the line now, and it is the double winner from Mugello.
On the 3rd at the moment for the next corner or so. But you can tell from the pace, Peter, they have really turned the wick up.
He has the advantage. Brian Uriarte, Marco Morelli in 3rd place. Yeah, great position for aggression, 15th to 3rd for Marco Morelli. Mitani is in 5th place. He's had a similar progression down the hill. Veda Pratama.
As Morelli dives up the inside of Uriarte again. 2 riders really at the top of the game, but Veda Pratama starting to get away from it, Peter. He's got a couple of bike lengths, 1/4 second ahead of them. Will it last into these last 2 laps that we have in Rookies Cup Acts?
So change direction.
He goes wide, and Morelli says, yep, I'll have that, but then...
Yeah, and then Brian is turning back to get on.
Peter, look who we've got. Pratama out the front. He's run away with it. It's going to be 3 wins from 4. Should he keep it on the road? And Mitani on course for a debut podium in Rookies Cup. Could he be? But it looks like Karpushin is going to try and take it from him as well.
Back, and he has to defend that absolutely superbly. He's well capable of it.
4 abreast in towards turn 1. Mitani leaves it as late as he possibly can. Ramadipa up the inside. Indonesia could have 2 riders on the podium here today, Peter. It's absolutely all on for it.
And surely the guys behind are going to know exactly how it's going. It's 1 second he has. Mitani up into 2nd place, ahead of Karpushin.
Well, it's all going to be about those final corners and Beñat Fernandez and David Gonzalez, you can't count them out, they are in for it as well. They would love a podium here in
Inside, there's Mitani on the 34 who has the advantage. Karpushin's there in the white helmet in third place. Karpushin goes up the inside, but he can't do it. Mitani comes across. He is surely going to take second place ahead of Mitani. Veda Pratama looks over his shoulder. There's no contest there. He wins it ahead of Mitani and Karpushin.
This really is a superstar in the making. Ramaddeepa in fourth position. You're so nearly at a double podium, Indonesia.
That's right. I think he did, you know, there is the number 13 of points leading. Hakim Danish crosses the line.
Veda Ega Pratama jadi bintang di Sachsenring. Juara race 2, kejar puncak klasemen. Veda Ega Pratama kembali mencuri perhatian penggemar balap motor setelah menyabet gelar juara dalam race 2 Red Bull Rookies Cup di Sachsenring Minggu 13 Juli. Setelah sebelumnya finish keempat di race 1, pembalap muda Indonesia ini membuktikan kematangannya dengan aksinya yang memukau dan menegangkan. Start dari tengah, finish di puncak. Veda memulai dari posisi menengah, namun ia tak membiarkan itu menyurutkan semangatnya. Dengan keberanian dan teknik balap yang rapi, Veda konsisten menyalip rival satu persatu sepanjang balapan. Aksinya di Sachsenring yang teknikal menunjukkan kemampuannya mengatasi tekanan tinggi dan situasi yang padat. Duel sengit dan momen menegangkan. Pertarungan bukan hanya soal kecepatan, tetapi juga strategi dan mental. Veda bersaing ketat dengan pebalap seperti Zen Mitani, Jepang, dan Kiandra Ramaddeepa, Indonesia. Dalam 6-7 lap terakhir, ia berada dalam pengejaran agresif, namun justru momentum itu ia gunakan untuk merangsek ke podium. Jubilan kemenangan dan tambahan poin vital. Hat-trick penampilan podium beruntun ini membuka jalan bagi Veda untuk kembali bangkit setelah sempat terseok di awal musim. Tambahan 25 poin dari kemenangan race 2 memperkokoh posisinya di peringkat ketiga klasemen sementara, jumlah yang disebut-sebut mencapai 105 poin. Pengaruh besar Mugello yang lalu. Kemenangan ini bukan tanpa landasan, di seri Mugello, Italia, Veda meraih 2 kemenangan beruntun. 2 podium itu memberi suntikan kepercayaan diri dan poin besar, menjadikan posisinya kini tidak sekadar kuat, tetapi juga patut diperhitungkan. Evaluasi dan strategi tim. Start dari barisan tengah menjadi catatan penting. Tim pun menyadari perlunya fokus lebih matang pada kualifikasi. Dengan posisi start yang lebih baik, Veda bisa mempertahankan ritme di depan, kata pelatihnya. Setup motor juga disesuaikan untuk trek dengan karakter teknikal dan elevation canggih seperti Sachsenring. Bakat lokal menggema di arena internasional. Kemenangan ini menjadi bukti bahwa pebalap muda Indonesia siap bersaing di panggung dunia. Untuk publik tanah air, prestasi Veda tak hanya menghentak di Sachsenring, tetapi juga melukiskan masa depan cerah dunia balap nasional. Target, merangsek ke puncak klasemen. Dengan 2 balapan tersisa di Red Bull Ring, Austria, dan Misano, Italia, peluang Veda untuk naik ke posisi kedua, atau bahkan menantang sang pemimpin klasemen, semakin terbuka. Ia kini hanya 49 poin di belakang Hakim Danish, Malaysia, yang memimpin dengan 154 poin, serta tertinggal 36 poin dari Brian Uriarte. Pemuncak runner-up klasemen. Kesimpulan, Veda pahlawan kecil dengan ambisi besar. Veda Ega Pratama menunjukkan kombinasi sempurna antara teknik matang, mental baja, dan strategi jitu. Dari start di posisi menengah hingga ke podium, perjalanan balapnya kali ini layak diacungi jempol. Semangatnya dalam meraih kemenangan di Sachsenring bukan hanya soal juara sehari, melainkan pesan bahwa pebalap Indonesia memiliki potensi besar di kancah global. Kini, semua mata tertuju pada seri Red Bull Ring dan Misano, di mana Veda akan diuji kembali. Apakah ia mampu menjawab tantangan dan benar-benar menanjak ke puncak klasemen RBRC? Nantikan saja aksinya.